This video will demonstrate how manageable and uncomplicated the process is, to take your existing HL7 messages and populate a FHIR server. It begins with two-factor authentication for an authorized user to enter BDR Comply. The user types their username and password into the BDR Comply login screen. BDR Comply returns an encrypted code to the user, and moments later transmits the decryption key so that the code can be decrypted and shown on the screen. BDR Comply creates a new encryption key each time a user logs in. Once the user has logged into BDR Comply, they have just 3 tasks to complete in order to populate their FHIR server. Task 1 is to identify the database containing the HL7 transactions to ingest into FHIR. Here we are opening the HL7 database to verify it is the correct database. See the patient's name as Barnes, Carter. Next, we enter this HL7 database name into BDR Comply. We now must identify which FHIR server will be populated with the HL7 messages. We move our cursor to and select the MySQL R4 second FHIR server. We are optionally selecting an additional output of the FHIR bundle for backup, migrating to another FHIR server or analytics. As you see, no technical understanding has been required of the user at this point. The final action from the user is to just click the Run button, and BDR encrypts the HL7 data when it is ingested into the FHIR server. Behind the scenes, BDR Comply is encrypting the HL7 messages, putting the messages into JSON format, mapping each HL7 field to the proper FHIR field, creating a FHIR bundle, so that the FHIR server can properly interpret the data and then execute the proper FHIR API to populate the FHIR database. Sounds far easier than the actual 2 to 3 years of development effort that it required for the 150 FHIR resources and 37,000 FHIR fields. Now let's look at the FHIR data we just created. The patient or healthcare personnel selects the patient's ID and presses the Run and Display icon to view their data. Now the patient can read all their data held in your FHIR server, and you can see it as the HL7 we brought in before. The patient, or authorized user, can request this data be sent to them. The data will be put into a FHIR format for their reading and securely sent to the patient's device. BDR offers 2 more options that make viewing easier for the patients, healthcare personnel and analysts. The first is the BDR key-value pair we are now showing. It has a column name and value next to it and can be securely downloaded as a CSV file and opened in Excel. This is BDR's third and most advanced method of reporting from the FHIR repository. BDR wrote its own set of APIs for FHIR has too many limitations in the delivery of analytics and reporting outside of single patients or patients by resources. As you are seeing, BDR allows patients and users to select resources and columns within resources to generate reports from the FHIR data. These reports are then securely stored and then displayed on the BDR graphical interface. The user can then download these reports to their computer or mobile devices or even migrate the data within these reports to SQL or NoSQL databases as being shown to a Snowflake data warehouse. As we can see, BDR has secured all the data with AES-256 encryption in the data migrated to the Snowflake data warehouse.